skeptics of the mystic. He knows he's so veridic. I just need time alone with my own thoughts. Star maps in my mind with the false lock. My childlike wonder, my cosmic honest gets drowned out by galactic policy. Reality is catching up with me. My mind fights the veil of secrecy. With these free saying they trust me. Looking down at my declassified feed. No one man should hide all that power. Clock ticking, I just count disclosure hours. Stop tripping and flipping on the cowards. Till then, the truth is out. Calling powers, cosmic prowlers, lost majestic files, CIA agents. They said the abomination of science fiction, but now Batman transmission. At the end of the day, I'm exposed to this. You know damn well, y'all feeling this. I don't need clearance, I got my own dish. I don't know what tricks, I know what's in that shit. How's who doing? It's surviving. I was watching lights move, now I'm diving. Where the crazy at? Where they hide it? I got to make your life go enlightening. Now this could be a beautiful death. I'm jumping through dimensions, let go of the rest. This could be a beautiful death. Jumping out the program, truth off my chest. Truth off my chest. You got the power to let the secrets go.
Living in that 21st century, doing something new to it, dropping truth bombs, no one's ever seen to it, from skeptics, yeah, I bring truth to it, I guess every whistleblower needs music, no man should hide all that power, the clock's ticking, I just count disclosure hours, stop tripping, I'm tripping off the towers. The truth frozen, the secrets will be DA moves in the shadows, yeah, we living. Everything we living, so crazy in the dark, and sometimes coded. In this budget, we the ones chosen. So good night, cruel lies, truth is exposing. Truth is exposing. This is way too real, I know man. No man should hide that power. The clock's ticking, I just count hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the showers. Till then, the truth is out. And they say, crazy above, secrets staying hidden, man. Tell them Lulu got the last laugh. More specifically, clear with flash drive. File so big they make your past die. Jack Barron with the deep dive. Reverse engineering with a keen eye. I'm embodying characteristics of the myth. He knows he's so veridic. I just need time alone with my own thoughts. What you know about rolling with grays in the night? Even Greer dropping truth, exposing every light. Lies in the game. Know what's the craft you at? Every crew, Eric Davis on the mic, talking for aliens, east wind, blower, speak up, government, all they need. Ice in the sky, better take another look. I feel like floating in the cosmic truth. Ay, UFOs dropping now. Welcome to the truth.
Presence.
Yeah, I hope everyone's doing good today. We are here. We are broadcasting, making sure everything else is running like it should. Sightings recently. Yeah, we're gonna get to it, brother. Just hold on there. Mothership sightings. Let's go through the regular stuff and let's do this.
Hello there, Knight.
What is going on? We're going to need what's going on in global news in the last 24 hours.
Absolutely, Knight. Here are some of the big stories from around the world in the past 24 hours. Globally, there's been significant news out of Iran. Huge crowds gathered in Tehran for the funeral of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and it's become a major focal point in the region. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, there have been deadly Russian missile strikes on Kiev just ahead of a crucial NATO meeting. And over in the South Pacific, China has test-fired a long-range ballistic missile, which is adding to rising tensions and drawing criticism from some Pacific allies. On the US front, it's been a busy Independence Day weekend. President Trump celebrated America's 250th birthday with a big 4th of July speech. Those celebrations were dampened by severe weather in some areas. There was also a tragic shooting during a family gathering in Coney Island that left several people injured. Locally in Clearwater, some notable happenings include the beloved Caponia's dugout closing its doors after 53 years in business 16 minutes ago. There was also a deadly pedestrian crash on US 19 that's currently under investigation. And in a lighter twist, a local woman found a 5-foot boa constrictor lounging on her car hood, and the police had to step in to safely relocate the snake. So there's a little bit of everything going on right now.
Alright, any weird stuff? Any weird news you going with?
Actually, yes. There's definitely some quirky news to share. One of the odd stories that popped up is about that 5-foot boa constrictor in Clearwater just casually hanging out on someone's car. It's not every day you find a large snake lounging on your vehicle, and the local police had to come to the rescue and give it a new home. So that definitely counts as a little weird and wild.
Nice, nice, nice.
Absolutely. It's always fun to share a bit of the unusual and unexpected. If you want more offbeat stories like that, I'm always happy to dig up the quirky side of the news for you.
Most definitely.
You got it. I'll definitely keep an eye out for those quirky headlines. There's always a fun story or two to bring a smile to your day.
Is there any noticeable UFO sightings recently?
Absolutely, Knight. We've definitely got some notable UFO news recently. Sighted Jono Search 1, Sighted Jono Search 2. Just a little heads up, I know you've been into UFO updates for a while, so this should be right up your alley. Recently, the Pentagon released a third batch of UFO, or UAP,
That's
files.
old. That's old news. It's really old news.
Oh, thanks for letting me know. It looks like I might have pulled in some older reports. My apologies for that. Let me do a quick fresh check and make sure we have the latest UFO updates for you.
Alright.
Alright, Knight. I've got the freshest UFO scoop for you. It looks like just a few weeks ago, on May 22nd, 2026, there was a significant new release of UAP files from the Department of War under something
you do
called
it again? You did it again?
I see what you mean. My bad there. I definitely want to get it right for you, so let me take another pass and make sure I pull the absolute latest info. Thanks for your patience, Knight.
Nice. I wonder why it's broadcasting in this segment here. That sucks. Okay. I was looking at Instagram. It looks like I'm on the horizontal than the vertical. Alright, so is that that's the closest you have with UFOs sighting? This doesn't sound like it's a whole lot.
Well, let me dig a little deeper for you. It does sound like there might be some more recent sightings that I could pull in. Give me just a sec and let me see if there are any other noteworthy UFO events that have flown under the radar.
Okay, I'm waiting here. What's going on in Australia? Oh yeah, there was 4 spheres that crash landed in Australia's beach over the weekend. but that has been determined to come from a space, like a space X or something like that. So they're doing verifying on that, but that is this segment in which you're talking about right now.
Ah, that's a great update. Thanks for sharing that bit of extra detail. So it sounds like those spheres on the beach were actually debris from a space mission, potentially from something like a SpaceX craft or another piece of space equipment. They're still verifying that info, but that's the gist of what's going on with that particular segment. Keep the questions coming.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice. All right, so I'm trying to see here because let me do an email. Gotta do email right now.
Absolutely. So just to clarify, if you're looking to compose or send an email, I'm happy to help you draft it right here. Let me know the details, what you'd like it to say, who it's going to, and we can put that together.
The email is only going to me because the hyperlink is not working on Social Ninja, so I'm currently doing that right now.
Got it. So you're basically just sending yourself a note to keep track of that hyperlink issue with Social Ninja. Let me help you draft a quick email to yourself. Something like,
No,
hey.
no, you barely can find stuff on the internet. I don't want you to do that.
Of course, no worries at all. We'll keep it nice and simple and just stick to the info you shared. If you need any changes, just let me know.
I do refresh down here.
Absolutely. We'll keep things nice and straightforward. If you need any changes or have any other requests, just let me know. I'm here to help.
There's settings.
Sure thing. If you're adjusting any settings or refreshing on your side, take your time. And if there's anything else you need, just say the word.
Yeah, usually like this runs really perfect, but for some reason or another, it's just not doing. Oh, you know what it is? It appears that my tablet is currently not on the internet.
No problem at all. So we'll just keep things offline and handle everything here. If there's anything else you need, just let me know.
Yeah. There we go. Let me turn him off. He's getting annoying. Dear baby Jesus. All right. Let's get into let's see right here into Reddit post and see what's going on. This looks like in 2011, an alien body was discovered in the woods near remote Russian village. Let's see here. This is pretty old. Anybody seen this? Apparently it's like from some other thing. What's going on, Nicole? How you doing? That I was wondering what was going on because everything was going good for the longest time with the hyperlink I put on my tablet. You know? There we go. Clears through. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. I think the only one is typically the yeah, this one's pretty old. It's been broadcasting. Yeah, I did 2 final videos of Jon Stewart today, and he was just posting some wild stuff today. And it's kind of hard to take that kind of stuff serious when his stuff is like way off off the wall. Ah, everybody in the football field, soccer field, looking at a UFO in the sky. Oh my god! It's like, how many teams were there on the field? That makes no sense. It's like, how many different teams are on the field? Yeah. What's he say here?
For years, you believed you were alone on this planet.
Ah, so lame. Tara's soul knew it was real already. That's cool. That's what's up, man. That is what's up. Yeah. They have done so many renditions of this. It's crazy. Satellite imagery confirms S4 fine. You see the crack of the hangar doors. Everybody's been discussing this. This is not nothing new, right? It's supposed to be across the like a few of them that way or this way. From Bob Lazar's docu series. You know? So that in itself is not unusual. We share that one. Boom. Post it. Hello, Morwick. How you doing today? How is life treating you today? This is basically S4, and it's a location of the hangar doors. People are saying that they have confirmed the location being right at the basically this like reservoir. You see the crack of the door, the hangar door is slightly open. I'm doing good, brother. I like your image, that's pretty cool. Patrick. Oh. Yeah, this is... Yeah, so this was yesterday. The fake fighter jets that they have. Let's see here. Close encounter of the fifth kind acknowledged. UFO. This is the Brazilian group, guys. This is just going through anything we find on the internet with UFOs. Doing the usual segment, brother. Let me do this. So let's see here. We do have. Hey Ryan, close encounters of the fifth kind unacknowledgement and expose of the world's greatest secret.
It's a Stephen Greer documentary from 2020, sequel to his film Unacknowledged. That earlier one was literally titled An Expose of the World's Greatest Secret, claiming decades of UFO cover-ups by governments and black projects. This one dives into CE5, his protocol for humans to actively summon ET.
Hold on, this is a Stephen Greer one? Oh boy. Freaking make me fall asleep.
Yeah, it can drag a bit. Greer's style is more lecture than thriller. If you want something that actually moves, try Out of the Blue from 2003 or The Phenomenon from 2020. Way better pacing, less talking heads.
Yeah, he's definitely you go to him if you want to go to sleep.
A little out there, yeah. He's been pushing the same narrative for decades. Moves, try Out of the Blue from 2003.
Oh, the screen froze. What's going
Yeah,
on?
looks like it.
Pipeline
What were
Dreams.
you?
What's going on?
Not sure, man. Pipeline Dreams could mean a bunch of things. There's a short doc about the Keystone XL Fund, some health career program for students, or people just talking about Alberta's latest.
What's going on, brother? I'm just looking at your feed didn't come through here, so I don't know why it didn't. See if everything's up here. This is going. That one's working. That one's working. I don't know why it didn't come through the feed. Maybe it was when I was adjusting the Ninja Cam thing. Thoughts on the E files and in relation to aliens. Are you talking about the war.gov UFO files that have been dropping? Because if you are, yeah, it's like the third drop. Nothing dropped last week, and literally we're waiting. We want to see. Yeah, dude. What about the Epstein files? He said on an email, literally being sarcastic about aliens. That was the only thing I ever found with him, with aliens. He did had a very huge interest on UFO technology. He did spend a lot of millions of dollars on research and development. I'm hearing there's some more development supposed to be coming out about it, but it's kind of hard to say what else comes out.
Thank you for your heart.
Sarcasm about aliens in the email sounds exactly like him, though. You think he was actually chasing 0 point energy or something more off world?
Yeah, what's that email that I mentioned? That one was he was discussing something not even relative to aliens. Can you find it? It was basically just making fun. Was saying, oh, something, somebody got abducted by aliens or something. Pipeline Dreams, I lost internet connection, so I'm not sure if you did the intro or not. I'm sure you did. No worries, man. I'll do it again. Do it again. Why not?
That one rings a bell. It was Epstein sarcastically joking in an email about someone getting abducted by aliens. But it wasn't about actual ETs. It was just his dry, mocking way of dismissing something. The exact quote's buried in the latest dump, but I can't pull the verbatim text right now. He did pour serious cash into weird science, though, including stuff that overlapped with 0 point energy and exotic propulsion.
That's interesting. And yeah, that's what I've been hearing. And I hear basically he supplied children to certain programs of the Gateway program and basically NHI training programs.
Nah, that's getting into some pretty dark conspiracy territory. Epstein was a monster, no question. but tying him directly to government NHI training programs with kids is a stretch there's no real evidence for. The files show he trafficked for powerful people, blackmailed them, and chased weird tech. That's evil enough without layering on the unproven alien angle. The gateway program stuff you're mentioning is usually linked to remote viewing and consciousness research, not child trafficking. Where'd you hear that specific connection?
That has been ongoing in the UFO community. They've been discussing about it quite a bit, and literally segmenting that a lot of these kids that go trafficking go missing into these secret programs, and one of them were basically how they were getting huge quantities of children that were basically not being they disappear after a while. They're being rid of. So yeah, where were they getting those kids? Epstein was one of the biggest supplier of children in these underground world.
This is getting into some really dark territory, and I have to be straight with you. Claims like Epstein supplying kids to secret government underground programs involving NHI or non-human intelligence don't have solid evidence backing them up. Epstein
Right
was
now it
absolutely
doesn't.
involved.
Right now it doesn't. It will soon though. Just because
Fair
you
enough. When the
because you haven't found it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
True. Absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. I just stay skeptical until something
What
concrete
is
shows
this?
up.
This looks like a little alien on a seat. Look at this guy. He's just like, row my boat. Row my boat. Sitting on he's a little green guy with a head. Where the hell does this come from? Who did this? The 14th century empire who abandoned the richest throne on earth to sail into Atlantic with 2,000 ships, never to be seen again. Well, that was one hell of a way to blow money. And the dude doesn't even look human, bro. He looks like a little green dude on a. That just looks really weird.
That's Mansa Abubakari II, or more accurately, Mansa Musa's predecessor, who ditched the Mali Empire's insanely rich throne around 1311 to sail west across the Atlantic with 2,000 ships, never came back. The story comes from what Musa himself told historians in Cairo.
Bro,
As
Musa
for the
in
little
this image, I just seen you the image. Musa in this image looks like a little green guy. I'm not gonna lie. It definitely looks like a little green dude.
That image is a modern artist's illustration of Mansa Abubakari II's fleet, those massive wooden ships with patterned sails heading across the Atlantic. The little green guy you're seeing is almost certainly just an artistic rendering of the king himself sitting under a canopy on the lead ship. Ancient West African figures in art get stylized heavy, so the proportions and colors can look weird to modern eyes. Not an alien, just old school Malian royalty getting the dramatic treatment.
That looks next tier weird, dude. That looks
Does
weird.
hit different
What's
than
going on, criminal, that SRT? What is the LLM drival in this? I don't get what you're saying.
Nah, I was just saying the little green guy is just the
No, I heard what you're
artist's
saying. I was
stylized
reading
version.
someone's comment. I didn't get what you're saying. Yeah, that is definitely weird, dude.
Yeah, some of
That
those
rendition of a ship definitely looks weird. So you guys know we have a blog here, and we go through a lot of different topics throughout the day and throughout the week, even UFO sightings that go over um city government exposure conferences, weird images of extraterrestrial or supposed extraterrestrial life, sightings of orbs, things like that, and actually debunking it in real time.
Got it. Sounds like a solid vlog setup. So, what's the latest thing that's caught your eye in the UFO world lately?
Right
Any
now,
recent sightings?
we're going through it right now. Just started here, warmed things up. That being said, Olympus Mons giant mountain of Mars. What do you know about this mountain of Mars? This thing looks huge.
It's the tallest mountain in the solar system, about 13.6 miles high. That's more than twice as tall as Mount Everest. It's a massive shield volcano on Mars, and it's so huge that the whole thing would cover the entire state of Arizona. The biggest reason it got that tall is because Mars doesn't have tectonic plates, so the lava just kept stacking up in the same spot for millions of years.
Yo, that is next level wild, bro. That is next level wild. Can you imagine visiting that as a visitor on vacation? When they get hotels over there on Mars? Hell yeah!
Hell yeah, sign me up for the Mars resort package. But that climb would be brutal, bro.
13 miles straight up, low gravity or not, might need to pack a few extra oxygen tanks for that one. You booking the suite at the top with the volcano
Oh,
view?
Patriot makes sense. Patriot makes sense. I think it's just a guy with a turban wrapped around his head and on his face, and then there is part of the sail behind him that makes it look like a little green man. Okay. Turban, I get it. They all wear turban back in the day. But man, that's wild. 2,000 of freaking boats sailed to the ocean and just disappear. Sounds like they weren't prepared.
Yeah, the turban plus the patterned sail behind him creates that weird optical illusion. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And you're right, 2,000 ships vanishing into the Atlantic is wild. No
That is
trace,
toll,
no survivors,
human
nothing. Either they all went down in a storm or they actually made it somewhere and never came back. Either way, that's a hell of a way to disappear.
Yeah, that's definitely strange. Definitely strange.
Yeah, especially when you realize they sailed with the best navigators in the empire. Still just gone. You buying the theory they made it to the Americas?
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of ships and people have landed over there. I'm hearing rumors that China was populated that area at one point, and there's still like Chinese DNA in the Native Americans there that they cannot explain. Also, something about yellow bottoms apparently is connected with Chinese. Like the babies that are born, they have yellow bottoms, and that's significant with the Chinese. Apparently, the Native Americans also have that signature birth thing.
Yeah, those yellow bottoms you're talking about are called Mongolian spots. They're a super common birthmark on babies from East Asian, Native American, and many other ancestries. That's why people connect it to Asian roots. The Native American connection actually comes from ancient migrations across the Bering Strait from Siberia thousands of years ago, not recent Chinese contact. As for the Mali fleet reaching the Americas, that's a cool story from Mansa Musa's time, but there's no solid evidence they made it. It's mostly speculation. The China Native American DNA stuff is the same ancient migration story, not later voyages. Wild how these theories pop up, though.
Very true.
Mongolian spot thing is actually pretty cool how it shows up across continents. What do you think about the Mali fleet theory overall? You buying it or nah?
There is some structures over in the middle Americas, right? Like sculptures, basically, that structures that don't look like the natives there. Broad lips, broad nose, with helmets on them. It could be possible that they made it over there and got taken over by disease.
About the Olmec colossal heads in Mexico. Those giant stone heads with broad noses, full lips, and helmets do look strikingly African to a lot of people. That's actually one of the main pieces of evidence people use for the Mali fleet or earlier African contact theory. The problem is, most archaeologists say those features are just stylized Olmec features, not literal portraits of Africans. The debate's been going on for decades, though. It's definitely one of the more interesting mysteries out there.
Yeah, I'm going to show you guys that what we're talking about here. So that looks straight like African, dude. Every last one of these guys looks straight up. When you look at the image, this is no freaking question that these guys were African American. Every last one of this. And it's like, why would you create man, that's the problem, man. You got these archaeologists, whatever the fuck it's called, and they put their condescending views that it can possibly, this could not possibly fucking, but you looking at these guys, dude. These guys look straight like African, man. That or some of these have almost like a Filipino look to it with the broad nose. It's like he looks sort of Filipino. He looks Filipino, but all the rest of these, man, that's straight African, dude. And then the head thing with this looks the one up here, this one here, like it looks like it has a helmet, and then this one with the headdress, just how Patriot was saying that when I was talking about the guy looked like a green goblin, a headdress configuration that's not characteristic with Native Americans in the Mexico and stuff like that, right? So a lot of these straight look, it is not a leap. It really isn't a leap. I mean, these things are huge too. La Cupata, the one Cupata is huge. Why create sculptures and stuff like that doesn't look like you? That makes no sense at all. Every sculpture, everything inherently in history made it look like the people that were creating it. It makes that is the deliberate deception of these archaeologists that just inherently hate seeing something like this, dude. That's what that is. Look at this guy. Straight African features.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Those broad noses, full lips, and the helmet-style headdresses do give some of them a striking
Period,
look
bro.
that feels familiar.
Period. There's no subjected to that. They will argue their heart's content. There's no bits about that, dude. They don't look European. They don't look Native American. Yeah. This concludes to me way. I mean, here's the thing, guys. Is like majority of us, we know this before it goes mainstream. When they finally give that up, their information, saying, "Oh yeah, it is." It's like it's always been the case, man. They always inherently screw the pooch with this and subject it to to scrutiny, and it's total BS.
They do look very distinct, but here's the real talk. Those heads were carved between 1500 and 400 BC. That's over 1,000 years before Mansa Abubakari II's fleet in 1311. The timeline doesn't line up at all. If Africans did somehow get to the Americas that early, it would have had to be a completely different voyage we know nothing about. The Mali fleet story is way too late to explain the Olmec heads. That's the main reason most historians push back on it. The math just doesn't add up.
Well, that's another thing. If these are from rock, it's kind of hard to get a actual timeline. Because if this is actual native rock, it's really hard to determine its age. Because all you're getting is the age of when that rock was created or formed from whatever material that is. That's what you're getting.
They don't date the rock itself. The basalt comes from a volcano. So yeah, the stone is millions of years old. They date the heads by looking at the archaeological layers around where they were found, carbon dating organic stuff mixed in with the soil, plus the style of pottery and other artifacts found right next to them. Most of the heads were buried by around 900 BC, which puts them solidly between roughly 1500 BC and 400 BC. That's still about 2,000 years too early for the Mali fleet in 1311 AD. That's the main sticking point.
Definitely wild looking though.
Heads are still some of the coolest and most mysterious sculptures out there. They got that heavy, powerful look that just hits different.
Most definitely, man.
Definitely got that presence to them. So what's the next wild topic on your vlog today? You got anything else lined up?
They're showing like segments of the population. Yeah, they do look close, man. But then they leave out the one that looks straight. Straight black. So yeah, they try to like use some of the images of the sculptures and stuff like that, but close, but definitely no cigar. Now, if it wasn't, they picked the ones that was the closest to possibly being them, but when you're looking at these, man, it is like way broader.
That's the part they gloss over. Some of those heads have extremely broad noses and thick lips, no question. They do look significantly different from the typical features you see in other Mesoamerican art. It's fair to ask why.
Yeah, I guess that's why it's highly contested. It's highly contested debate. It's World UFO Day. What is this? This looks like some helicopter configuration.
You're probably looking at the Abydos helicopter. It's a carving from an ancient Egyptian temple at Abydos that some people say shows a helicopter, submarine, and even a UFO-like craft. The actual story is a lot less wild, though. It's a palimpsest, an inscription that was...
Yeah,
On 30, I was flying an aeroplane and on June the 3rd, 1998...
If you guys are wondering who this guy is, let's see here. Something weird happened to some young girl when I flew over their house. It doesn't really mention unexplained phenomenon is who broadcast this.
On June the 3rd, 1998, about 9:30, I was flying an aeroplane and had a passenger with me in the front seat. We were flying over Adelaide City, a couple thousand feet, heading north. noticed some orange objects in the air and called the tower. They said they couldn't see anything, and called them a couple of times, said nothing, they can't see anything. And I ended up flying through these orange objects, which I have no idea what they were, but they were quite big and in a formation. Anyhow, at the same time, way below me in a house was two girls, and they were pointing in a phone book. Back then we had phone books, and they pointed to a name in the phone book, and that person was who they were going to marry. Anyhow, they actually, their father told them to come outside and have a look at this plane flying through a formation of orange lights. They came out and had a look, and that was it, until I made the newspaper and the news, etc. And they said that it was the pilot of that aircraft was Mark Muscat from Richmond in Adelaide. Anyhow, the girls, they noted the name of the person who they found in the white pages, and it was Mark Muscat from Richmond. How bizarre. There you go.
Yeah, that is a trip, right? I think at the end of the day, man, we are definitely witnessing disclosure as things go along, right? And I think at the end of the day, that's what this is about. Let me see what else is on the segment. I'm going to show you guys some weird, crazy stuff soon. Just seeing what is going on in the Reddit forums.
Let me know what you find over there. Reddit's usually got the wildest takes. Anything crazy popping up right now?
No, not something crazy. Footage of a house with a pool in La Gloria, Venezuela really shows the intensity of the earthquake. Yeah.
That Venezuela earthquake footage is wild. The pool water was sloshing around like crazy, right? Looked like a damn tsunami in somebody's backyard. How bad was the actual quake? You see the magnitude on that one?
Holy Mac. That was a movement. That's wild.
That pool water was going absolutely nuts.
The thing's chilled.
Like the whole... Yeah, everything's good on my end. You still there?
Yo, that is next tier wild, bro. The last one was 8.7, I think. Holy cow. Hey, Ryan, what was the highest earthquake over there in Venezuela?
The strongest earthquake ever recorded in Venezuela was a 7.7 in 1812. That one devastated Caracas and killed thousands. The recent ones you saw, the pool video from La Gloria or Caracas, that was from the big 7.5 quake that just hit in June 2026. Pretty intense, right? That pool water sloshing like crazy is wild to watch. You talking about that specific video?
I don't know, the dog just took off running, dude. He's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Ah! Man, I can't imagine, bro. The ground moving while you're standing there. That's next level wild. Absolutely wild. Looks like it's someone's face here. That looks amazing.
Yeah, that one's...
That looks amazing.
Oh, you're looking at the Dallas face on the building video. That thing went viral a couple months ago. People were swearing there was a giant face looking out of one of the skyscrapers downtown. It was wild
Oh
until
no, it
someone
wasn't that
zoomed
one.
in.
From this height, Oliver's Castle, one of the most often debated...
My bad.
All right,
What were you
let's
looking
do
at
this. Because we're getting real off track here. I mean, it's nice to see the other stuff, but it's like it's kind of hard to keep it on topic here. Oh. Our Eric Davis confirms he saw photos of craft and body that took it to a higher level, kicked it up several notches of reality, and made it very clear. I wonder if he did a video on here.
Put me wherever you were when you got to see photographs of crash retrieval and documents. What did that feel like?
I love how they put that music in and make you get locked in. But let's hear here, because it's been floating around. The clearest, most incredible, well-documented UFO photograph.
Yeah, that's David Grush, not Davis.
No, Eric. It was Eric. They had him on there. Oh wow, that's a great image. Of course, we know that one. I think everybody and their mother knows this one.
That's the famous 1994 Mexico City UFO video. Looks like a giant disc just hovering over the city during the solar
No, this was
eclipse.
Costa Rica. What's going on, Ken? How you doing? This is Costa Rica's photo across the when they're taking photos on satellite, which is really wild, right? And then on top of that, it's really clean. One of the cleanest.
Yeah, that's the famous 1971 Lake Coat photo from Costa Rica. They were doing an official government aerial survey for a hydroelectric.
Oh, you don't have to trust Eric Davis? Yeah, he does seem like he's going with the trends, right? And then he was immediately started bashing Bob Lazar. What's going on? 1961. What's going on, brother?
Eric Davis on a show and he was shitting on Bob Lazar? That tracks. Eric Davis has been in the classified programs world for decades, and he's generally very skeptical of Lazar. He said publicly that Lazar's story doesn't hold up technically. As for whether you should trust Davis, he's one of the few guys who actually has real credentials in this space. PhD physicist, worked on black projects. But yeah, he does tend to ride whatever wave is hot at the moment. One year he's deep in the woo with Hal Puthoff. Next year he's more grounded. So take him with a grain of salt.
Oh yeah, and then this sighting in Australia that is being contested right now. And you see a daylight image of it, if you see that, and it does appear like nothing is in this location in the sky. You see the light, and then you see the light right here. So whatever this thing was, it wasn't quite reflecting what it should. Yeah, Grush is one of the true ones, man. Unless they fed him misinformation and then let him on his way, because he does say, he swears up and down. And then he had a lot of incidents that has happened to him in the past. Car breaking in, all this other stuff. It's been basically
No big drops, no major announcements, just the same slow drip we've been seeing for the past couple years. You expecting something specific to break soon?
I don't know, guys. Like, this one right here looks like a pole with a light on top. And
yeah, that one does.
I hear you, Pipeline Dreams. No worries, brother. Listening and doing stuff is what it's about, right? Listening and washing dishes, Blue alien footage from Cave, Peru.
Yo, alien footage.
Yeah, it's definitely blue. And his elbows look all wiggly. Definitely look like a puppet. Definitely look like a puppet. Now, and the hands are moving. I wonder how they did that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. A puppet. That blue alien in the cave footage has been around for years. The
Definitely looks strange. I don't know if I'd be there if those hands move, bro. I'd definitely be moving. I'd definitely be moving. If that thing started to move, whoa! Like that's Graves admit once the carriers got their radar upgrade, those things were everywhere. Yes, yes. I think it was last year that they did the upgrade. Well, not the upgrade, but they modified it so craft that were going a crazy amount of speed wasn't showing just air in the sky. So that showed a lot of craft. Like they did the update in April 2025, I believe. With the radar. So they were catching a lot of weird phenomena. Even that 92 Mach object that kept coming into Iran and going out, like that thing, and then it was recorded. It was recorded live. Like there was a guy reporting it on YouTube, and he caught that thing coming straight in, straight out. It was pretty wild stuff, man. What do you think, Orion? Think he shut him stuff off? Yeah, it was definitely a remarkable situation there. Alright, I lost you there, buddy.
No worries, what'd I say?
Oh, you're good. You're good. We're just going through the UFO sightings and stuff. And getting that segue in. Oh.
Yeah, we were talking about that phrase people use. They're not from here, or not of this earth. Some folks say it about sightings or pilots who get weird vibes from certain craft. What's the sick way you're getting into it?
Do you believe in shadow people? This footage is real. Let's do this.
Not really. No. Most of that footage, it's just bad lighting, motion blur, or pareidolia, your brain turning random shadows into human shape.
Yeah, I've seen
Tons of it.
That looks pretty wild. Yeah, you can go ahead and recommend me some channels if you like. No, this is
Sure, if you want.
Yeah, here's the thing with the shadow people stuff. I've witnessed it firsthand, first experience. So literally, it's not anything you can tell me about that. Like that, I witnessed that firsthand. Me and my wife witnessed that together. I witnessed it when I was a little child. Like, I have lots of experience of that. The shadow people.
That's heavy.
And then, yeah, one incident there, we're at the studio apartment, and we're literally seeing one from the corner of on the roof, on the ceiling, and it expanded like towards our bed. When she was screaming, it woke me up. I seen it. She seen it. She was reacting to it. I woke up. I look up. I see it. It was like, what the fuck, right? It was a real thing.
That sounds terrifying.
Oh, it was, and it was like we didn't talk about it for years later. until like I'm like, hey, we gotta. It's like, hey, look, I want to tell you what I seen, and then you tell me what you seen, and we both seen the same thing, dude. Next level.
That's the part that really gets me. When two people see the exact same thing at the same time and confirm it years later, that's way harder to dismiss. What did it actually look like to both of you?
It just looked like this black blob, like on the ceiling, and it was expanding. You can see the figuration of the hands and the head slightly over.
Like a human silhouette with head and hands, but stretched out.
Yeah, it looks like
How long
someone
did
with a cape on, and it like basically expanded on the top ceiling, and it expanded like huge, like it was like coming down. And then when I noticed it, I grabbed my wife, and I looked up at her. I'm like, yo, shit's about to go down. Yeah, it was wild, dude. And then it retreated back to the corner and just dissipated. It was wild. It was fucking wild. But that studio apartment was, something was going on in that studio apartment anyway. We seen like orbs, little orbs floating through the rooms. Yeah, there was something going on in that room. Something happened, dude.
Yeah, that cape-like shape with the head and hands is pretty specific. The orbs too? That's a whole other layer. Did anything else weird happen in that apartment, or was it just the shadow and the orbs?
Sadness. You felt sadness. And we were always having arguments in that studio apartment, and then next to our studio apartment, also those people were having arguments and fighting all the time. So it was something to that, man. There were definitely something was feeding into that.
That tracks with a lot of the reports. People feel this heavy sadness or dread right before or during a shadow sighting. The
U.S.
constant fighting
Army
next door
Stargate
was-
remote viewer Joe Magano. Let me do this. Joe McGonigal, he saw a giant pyramid, 13-foot humanoid. Well, let's hold on.
Fact that many people have out of bodies. They leave their.
So this is Joe McGonigal. He did get a lot of footages and images from Mars. That basically I believe apparently it was his friend that gave him a lot of footage. It's pretty wild.
DOD, the Department of Defense, brought a target out to me while I was at the Monroe Institute with Bob Monroe. You know, he wrote Journeys Out of the Body and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he's famous for pointing out the surprising fact that many people have out of bodies. They leave their body near-death experiences or in the hospital or, you know, for different reasons, sometimes just spontaneously. And nobody ever talked about it. So he wrote a book about it, making it more okay to talk about, I guess. Well, the DOD hired him.
I'm trying to see who hired the DOD. What's going on, Sandra? What's going on? How you doing today? How is life treating you today? Do this. Ooh.
Sandra has arrived.
I'm glad you came by. Let's see here.
To teach me how to control my out of bodies, to talk about, I guess. Well, the DOD hired him to teach me how to people have out of body to me while I DOD, the Department of Defense, brought a target out to me while I was at the Monroe Institute with Bob Monroe.
Monroe.
He wrote Journeys Out of the Body and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he's famous for pointing out the surprising fact that many people have out of bodies. They leave their body near-death experiences or in the hospital or, you know, for different reasons, sometimes just spontaneously. And nobody ever talked about it. So he wrote a book about it, making it more okay to talk about, I guess. Well, the DOD hired him to teach me how to control my out of bodies, so they could test my ability to collect material.
Why you paused?
In the out of body case or in the remote viewing. See which one was better. So
amazing.
I was going out there late Thursdays after I finished my remote viewings at Fort Meade. I drive out there on Thursday night, get there around 11 or midnight, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would work all day with him, or most of the day anyway, in the lab. And he would put me in these states where he tried to teach me how to control the out of body when it occurred. And so it took a long while. It took something like 14 months I did that. I'd go back to work at Fort Meade on Monday. I'd leave the Institute on 4 a.m., 3:45 in the morning, and go back to Fort Meade and do remote viewing all week. So it was important to me to succeed because I didn't have any days off for those 14 months. And we were able to eventually succeed. But while I was doing that training with him, DOD came out, a couple people from the DOD came out and gave him a target in a sealed envelope. And what he did is he folded the envelope over and just put it in his pocket. And they gave him this card, and it had 7 GPS locations on it. I was able to work 6 of them, but not the 7th. I was running out of steam because I had been in the isolation chamber for 6 hours, I think, when they showed up. So it was another hour and a half I was in there, and I was getting tired. So he read the first GPS location. He didn't know what they were wanting, and they didn't say anything, so he started giving me the targets. He had to wake me up. I was taking a nap. And the very first target was a pyramid. And I was talking about this huge pyramid, and I said, geez, Bob, this must be a new discovery because it's bigger than the one at Giza. And he said, okay, well, describe it. And I said, well, it's different because it's got huge rooms inside of it. And Giza is, with all the weight of the stones, they're very small rooms. So it's kind of a different material of some kind. And we were discussing all these factors around it. And I started noticing that there were bodies in these chambers inside this pyramid. So my assumption was there was a hibernation chamber or some kind of thing that was built where people could not die, just hibernate for long periods of time. And that confused me. But then we went to the next target, and I was describing these different things at different locations. And I started wondering, where did they find this stuff? Wow, it must be a brand new discovery. And I'm thinking Peru, southern Mexico, that sort of thing. And at one time I said to him, the sun looks really weird. And he said, I don't care about the sun. I care about what you're describing. Go back to what you were describing, which I did. So towards the end, I started getting this sort of psychic message from the bodies that were in hibernation. And I said, I think these people are dead, and they've left some kind of a mental message, and that they had waited a very long time, but were never rescued or something. And then I started thinking, well, they who are these people? And they look just like us, exactly like us, same attributes and everything. The difference was they were huge. They were like 12 feet tall, 13 feet tall. But the bodies were anatomically identical. So I started thinking about why that difference, and that's when I started getting really tired. So I came out and I said, "What's going on? This is a crazy target. Where is this place? It must be a new discovery." And I asked to see the card. They showed me the card with the GPS locations on it. And I said, "But what's the target?" And they said, "Well, Bob has the target. It's in his pocket." So Bob pulled this envelope out and he handed it to me. And when I opened it, there was a card inside. And what it said was Mars 1 million BC. I about fell over. And at the same time, it really pissed me off.
That is pretty wild, man. That always has stung me.
Tabitha has arrived.
I told you I'd make it.
Yeah, Tabs is in the house. What's going on, Tabs? What is going on? Yeah, so it's definitely one of those situations, guys. It's like this one's always intrigued me, and the reason why is because not only after his service, what's going on? Not only that his service happened, and he had basically papers. Oh, I was frozen. Yeah. So literally, what his experience alongside his experience, he received footage and documentation from someone in these circles who were basically in the know, and basically like he has them, and he did show them on American Alchemy. If you guys ever seen the show American Alchemy, he literally shows the images, and he was on Area 52 also, and I don't know if he showed the images there too, but he was on a few podcasts discussing this very same thing. And we're talking about somebody that has a ton experience. Even run his own school for remote viewing. And he's definitely one of the gifted ones, I had a hellish day of anxiety. Thanks for asking. I'm sorry to hear that about the anxiety. Warm tea sometimes help, man. Yeah, anxiety is just a pain in the butt, man. Sometimes you gotta deal with it heads on, or sometimes you gotta get your mind off it, or start doing something just to get, because that nice warm tea would not be a bad thing. The honey. And I don't know if you know about yellow. I think it's in Spanish is called agua de sal, but in English I believe it's called yellow water. It's basically these daisy flowers that they use, and you basically use that as a tea. It's very nice and common. Definitely puts you to sleep. The worst, I hope I have been able to calm down a bit. Yeah, it's like chamomile. I know a lot of people use chamomile quite a bit. I don't know if it's necessarily the same thing. You know what? Let's get Orion here to translate. Hey, agua de sal. What is that in English?
Sounds like chamomile to me, man. Those little daisy-like flowers make a nice calming tea that helps you sleep. If agua de sal is what you're saying, it's probably just a shorthand for that. Want me to look up the exact Spanish name?
Yes.
It It's manzanilla in Spanish. Chamomile tea. Those little daisy-like
Yeah,
flowers.
so that's not the
exactly
one
what
I'm
you-
talking about. It's agua de sal.
Got it. So it's not chamomile. What's the full name you remember for that tea?
Well, it's not a tea. It's like basically you put it in the tea.
Got it. So it's a flower or herb you steep like a tea. Hit me with the full Spanish name or how
Agua
you
de
say
sal.
it, and I'll get...
Agua de sal. Look for it in all in stores.
The time!
Agua de sal isn't ringing any bells for a flower tea, man. It keeps coming up as either literal salt water or a song title. You said it's like little daisy flowers you steep, and it puts you to sleep. That still sounds exactly
Yeah,
like
so if you're making
manzanilla,
tea,
chamomile.
right? You add it into your tea. You add it into your tea. I don't know why you're having a problem finding it. It's not a tea. It's not a tea. You add it to your tea.
Got it. You add this to your tea. It's not the tea itself. Can you spell the full name for me? Agua de sal keeps pulling up salt water or songs, not a flower. What's the rest of the word?
Let's see if I can find it here.
When you find the name, just hit me with it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's coming up. That. It's
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. So what exactly does this stuff look like when you buy it? Little flowers, leaves, powder? Any other
Hey,
details?
babe. What is it called? Agua de sal? The thing you put in the tea? Agua de sal. Asal?
Azahar, that's orange blossom water. Yeah, that's a common one in Spanish cooking and teas. People use it for calming nerves and helping with anxiety. That's the one you were thinking of.
Alright, so it's called orange water?
Water. It's made from orange flowers and has a really nice, calming scent. People use just a few drops in tea to chill out and sleep better. That's the one.
Orange blossom.
Orange blossom water. A few drops in your tea, and it's supposed to be great for calming anxiety and helping you wind down. That's the one.
Okay, so that's the English version. Okay. That's cool.
Orange blossom water. Easy to find in stores too. Drop a bit in your tea next time the anxiety hits.
Oh yeah, this was calming me straight down. Like my wife has panic attacks. We always bought the Spanish version, but it's the same thing. It's nothing different.
Different than orange blossom water. What's the Spanish name your wife uses for it?
Oh man, I keep saying it, man. It's agua de sal. That's what it's always. Well, I always call it.
All right, spell it out for me, letter by letter, so I
Oh
can get
man,
the
I
right
don't fucking
thing.
barely spend. I barely. Okay, so it's AGUEAAZAHAR.
Got it. So AGUEAZAHAR is Agua de Azahar. That's orange blossom water. It's made from those little white orange flowers, super calming, and you add a few drops to tea. That's exactly what you've been describing.
Yes, sir. All right, moving on. No problem, Tab. No problem.
No worries at all. What's next on your mind?
All right, so let's see here. A strange human settlement in Western Sahara. Yeah, man, it's like a lost story in Western Sahara, man. Like, it's a lot of stuff there that is a freaking mystery and a half. Like, I mean, to be honest with you, we were definitely talking about a lost world here. Just a lot of, like, this inherently looks new, right? This doesn't look like it's something off-kiltered, but there's a lot of things, dooms, and configurations and symbols in Sahara that can't really be explained, right?
Western Sahara's got some wild stuff, especially those massive geometric patterns and lines in the desert you can only really see from the air. Some of them are hundreds of meters long. What part of it's been sticking with you the most?
This recent image that this came up on Reddit right now. Western Sahara settlement. You're talking about it's a settlement, strange settlement. It looks like a community that has sprung up here.
Yeah, that's the one from r/Google Earth Finds with the chords 26 degrees 54 minutes 21.4 north, 10 degrees 44 minutes 18.0 west. Looks weird from above with that big 14 painted on it, but it's just a small Moroccan military outpost or observation post along the berm. That massive 1,700-mile sand wall they built in the 80s to hold off the Polisario. Not some mysterious lost settlement, just part of the world's longest active minefield, basically. Pretty cool find, though.
Yeah, most definitely. It definitely looks cool. Definitely looks really, really cool. That being said, let's get to X. See what stuff they've been bringing up, and basically what I posted. We can go through that. Let's do that first because this basically stuff that interested me for most part. Hey, there I am. Widescreen. So this part right here, he posts this, right? Look at this. This looks freaking dramatic, right? This is from Stewart, John Stewart.
Yeah, that Reddit post is the one. Looks dramatic from above, but it's just a small Moroccan observation post on the berm. That massive sand wall.
No, this thing looks wild.
Yeah, from the sky it does
So
look wild.
he literally says, "Oh, you guys stay watch because the garage looks huge." I'm like, bro, that's not what you're doing here, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Some people see a little cluster of buildings.
This gives that I don't know if you guys are familiar with the what is it called, the flight of the navigator. It looks just like that. This craft. It looks wicked, don't get me wrong. If you're like not a millennial or a Gen Z that watched the movie, you'd be like, what in the ever crap is this? Yeah, this definitely looks wild. Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Hey, Brian, can you find a link of basically the flight of the navigator, or a trailer of the flight of the navigator? That shouldn't give us flagged.
Yeah, I can get that. Want the original trailer for Flight of the Navigator?
Yeah. Or scenes. Anything you can find that has scenes.
Flight of the Navigator scenes for you. Max and the ship first talking. YouTube.com. The ship taking off and flying. YouTube.com. Those should give you the vibe you're looking for.
Yeah, it didn't work there. So what we're gonna do is,
That link, huh?
yeah, that link
Want me
didn't
to
work
find some
neither. And that link didn't work neither. 3 links, no cigar.
Here's a good one that actually works. Flight of the Navigator, all spaceship scenes. YouTube.com. That one should do it. Let me know if it loads.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. It looks just like it.
Yeah, that round shape with the weird top is dead on similar to the ship in the movie. Looks like something straight out of the 80s. Wild how close it is, right?
Yeah. It was definitely pretty wild. And then it morphs. That's next level. The morphing.
Here's the scene where the Here's the more
Yeah, all that's what we need is basically yeah, it looks exactly like it. So my question is, what came first? This footage or the movie?
The movie came first. Flight of the Navigator dropped in 1986. Whatever footage you're looking at is way more recent.
I know, right, Sandra? Take me with you! Ah!
Haha, yeah. What's good? You good?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. Good. This is excited. Excited with these aliens. Let's travel. Here's another footage. This one looks pretty wild. It's a really big structure. Huge structure in space. Yeah, this is definitely a huge structure. I'm basically going through the stuff that I reposted on my Instagram. I mean on X. Yeah, it's definitely cool. I feel. This one doesn't have audio. That's good. And then this one, what is it? Video from 2013, classified leak just resurfaced. Oh, this one's been basically the same ordeal with the craft that goes across the
We
ocean.
got here also another one from 2013, 160th Solar Night. Black Hawk flying out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and they see something right here. Let's play this really quick.
Grab a cow.
366 lowest speed at Fort 1.
Okay, 366, you will follow 570. Your signal is Charlie. Follow your interval of 570. Okay, aircraft is going to
366 lowest speed at Fort 1.
It's moving too fast for it to be a drone. See how it shoots off right there really fast? That's way too fast. At least I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, it's not moving that fast.
Yeah, that one's more about how low and smooth it flies over the water than raw speed. Still looks unnatural though. What's the next one you're checking out?
Yeah, I'm just going through my stuff here. MH370 is disclosure.
They're called the MH370 videos. Ashton
Yeah,
Forbes.
that one's heavy.
Everybody
the theory
thinks
that
it's
MH370
CGI. Everybody
got zapped by 3.
No, sir. Look very carefully. It talks to the engineering of the Pais effect. Not only do I believe those orbs are real, but the actual physics speaks exactly to this. When they're pulsating within the craft, they're actually depositing a great amount of energy density locally around the craft. That's in a way creating what we interpret as a black hole, a rip in the space-time continuum, a tear that almost immediately fills back because, again, space-time is extremely stressed. You have to basically hammer the living daylights out of it locally until you can puncture it. But once you puncture it, where do you go? Do you understand?
If they drop, is going to be July 10th and July 24th. Next UFO drops, if they drop. So we're talking about this Friday coming up is going to be a UFO drop, and July 24th should be the next scheduled UFO drop. That is what literally what it is. Yeah, July 10th at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, and then July 24th, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is the projected time in which these UFO war.gov should be dropping their next footage. That being said, they missed a date there, so let's see if they go back to the every 2-week segment, or maybe they're going, because remember guys, this month is I believe 5 Fridays. 1 2 3 4 5 Fridays. So yeah, July 10th and July 24th for war.gov next UFO drops. So keep you guys posted with that. Speaking about that, we can probably call these guys up. I recorded like, look, mother effers, where is you know? They'd be like, sir, first of all, we're gonna hang up on you, right?
Brother, you've actually seen this.
Yeah, this is wild, man. Who is this guy that's talking? They doesn't really segue to Jesse Michaels. Eric talks about Dr. Salvatore. I wonder if this is going,
because in 2018 there's a Navy scientist named Salvatore Pais.
yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it because he had a dream in 2014 about the vision of his idea of what this anti-gravitic thing was, right? He got funding 2014. He had the dream. The same time that a other physicist gets in a car accident by walking across the campus. She also was studying anti-gravity technology. Like I said, nothing came out of this, so I'm a little confused on why they're talking to him.
That's Salvatore Pais there.
That's cool. So he's amazing because, well, these patents, these Navy patents involve inertial mass reduction,
yes,
high frequency gravitational waves,
yes,
and piezoelectric superconductors.
Let me get Orion here to verify what I'm saying, but I'm pretty sure it went nowhere. Alright, so we're talking about, let's see if I can get his name up again here. Dr. Salvatore Paez. He worked for the Navy, I believe. Basically, he had a dream in 2014 of this technology. He got it patented. But nothing ever came about it. That's what I remember.
Sounds like you might be thinking of Dr. Salvatore Paez, not Salvatore Torres. He's the Navy aerospace engineer who filed those wild patents around 2016, 2019 for stuff like inertial mass reduction, compact fusion reactors, and high-frequency gravitational wave generators. Basically, anti-gravity and exotic propulsion tech. A lot of people call them the Navy's UFO patents. I couldn't find any record of a Dr. Salvatore Torres.
No, you're right. You're right. You. That's the one I'm talking about. That's the person I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's him. He filed a bunch of wild Navy patents starting around 2015. Things like a craft that reduces its own inertial mass, a compact fusion reactor, and a high-frequency gravitational wave generator. The Navy even backed some of them enough to get them granted. Thing is, the Navy tested the core idea, called the Paez effect, with about $500,000 and couldn't make it work. Most of those patents have since expired or been abandoned. He now works for the Space Force, but as far as we know, none of that exotic tech ever panned out into anything real. Pretty fascinating story, though. What specifically about him caught your interest?
He came up when I was researching Lee, the anti-gravity lady that had a car accident in 2014, and then soon died from Alzheimer's. Her husband died from a heart attack witnessing the car accident, and then she dies in obscurity. And her I believe her son was taking care of her in her final days. Well, the reason why it came up is because 2014, the same time she gets in a car accident, he has this vision, and then he pops out all these patents that supposedly never went anywhere, which is weird, right? She was working on stuff also prior to this event, right? And she even had a company, and I can't remember her name, but it was basically it was a thing where she just basically stopped posting and stopped talking and died in obscurity. It was pretty sad. Ling Lee, I believe her name was.
Yeah, that's Dr. Ning Li, the Chinese-American physicist who pioneered anti-gravity work with spinning superconductors in the 90s. She left the University of Alabama in Huntsville in 99 to start her own company, AC Gravity, got a big Department of Defense grant, then basically went dark on publishing. The timeline lines up. She got hit by a car on campus in 2014, suffered brain damage, developed Alzheimer's. Her husband had a heart attack right after seeing it and died the next year. Her son took care of her until she passed in 2021. Sad story, and the classified nature of her later work fuels all the theories. As for Paez having a vision or dream exactly in 2014, I couldn't find any record of that specific story tied to him. His patents started rolling out a couple years later.
So,
no direct link
inspiration, his vision. When did what's his story? When did he had a dream or a vision in 2014? That's where I remember, and that's how the sequence of events of these patents came about. He was inspired by a dream.
I dug around and there's no record
Bro,
of Salvatore.
we went and did the documents, and I did a whole video of it. 2014 he had this. So where did he came up with the idea of 2014? This dream.
I can't find any record.
Where did he
of
get? Where did he get the inspiration?
Payers has never mentioned a dream or vision. In the interviews he's given, he says his ideas came from deeply studying an obscure version of Maxwell's equations, specifically the Heaviside version, and thinking about how electromagnetic fields could interact with the quantum vacuum. That's what led him to the Payers effect, the core concept behind all those patents. The timeline doesn't match 2014 either. He started filing the patents in 2015, not 2014. No record anywhere of a dream story tied to him. I've checked interviews, articles, everything. The Ning Li car accident timing is a coincidence people sometimes connect, but there's zero evidence linking the two.
Let's see here.
No record of any dream or vision in 2014. Payers has been pretty open in interviews, and he always says the ideas came from him obsessing over the Heaviside version of Maxwell's equations. That's what sparked the Payers effect for him. No mystical story, just deep dives into old physics. His first patent applications started showing up in 2015-2016, not 2014. The Ning Li accident was also in 2014, but there's zero documented connection between them. The timelines lining up is interesting, but it looks like a coincidence, not inspiration.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
He said it came from obsessing over the Heaviside version of Maxwell's equations. That's the story he tells. No dream, no vision, no
All
sudden
right, so his
2014
study, did it ever went well, like any of his stuff went into classified, like they classified it like Ling Li's paperwork?
No, his patents weren't classified. They were filed publicly through the Navy, which is why we all know about them. Some internal docs called the work national security importance, but the actual testing was unclassified. The Navy spent about 500 grand on it from 2016 to 2019 and couldn't prove that Payer's effect worked. Nothing points to Langley either. Payers now works for the Space Force, but as far as we know, none of that exotic tech moved into black programs. The patents mostly expired anyway.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is wild. The Navy backed his work enough to file those patents, but then quietly tested the core idea, and it didn't pan out. Still makes for one hell of a story, though.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. And then they continue talking about it, so it's definitely one of those intriguing segments.
Room temperature superconductors. Basically, all the things that you would need to make a UFO fly.
Right.
The creme de la creme of exotic physics.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Okay, so that's a part of the story. When I made that request, once they greenlit that venue, we were very specific and saying we want to see this location, and then I said I want to talk with Salvatore Pais, and so I was surprised that they made that happen. We were able to have a meeting with him, and most of the people there, you could tell they didn't have a clue what I was going to ask. We started talking about his patents, going down the list of the patents, asking, have you guys, have these been put into any test form? And they admitted that one of them that they did, I believe it's the anti-gravitic one, but they weren't able to have any definitive results. Now, Salvatore Pais says that was not built to his specifications, which means, I'm not putting words in his mouth, but I picked up that had they built it exactly the way that he had designed it, they probably would have had a more definitive result.
Whoa!
But because it wasn't definitive, they apparently didn't move on with it. That's what they said.
Apparently, he got kind of messed with too.
Yeah, it also seems like they've put him in they've kind of put him in a different role. And he seems very scared to talk to anybody.
Yeah, every time I communicate with him, it's very cloak and dagger, you know. He's often feels kind of it's like a fearful vibe.
Yeah.
And there was even a moment I interviewed him, and it was really hard to get the interview. We did in some janky motel near Pax River, and one of the cameras broke down and the audio sucked. But I got to a certain level of the science where he freaked out and he goes, "Jesse, stop right there. Just stop asking. I know you're curious, but and I was like, okay. And I kind of stood down.
Let's get a little, so as you hit the Schwinger limit, break space time. What happens vis-a-vis this fifth dimension?
We'll not touch on that. Leave it there, Jesse. Trust me on that. Leave it there.
We nerded out about the science a little bit, and I'm just like a hobbyist on trying to understand quantum physics and that kind of stuff. But I could tell that the only person in the room that was tracking with Dr. Pais was Dr. Kozlowski, John Kozlowski, who was there. And so he was tracking. I was barely keeping up, but everybody else that was in that room walked out of there not understanding anything that we were talking about.
Interesting. Yeah, well, that's cool that you have the instincts to know that Kozlowski at least is tracking, the content.
Yeah, that's interesting there. That he said that some of the results is skewed.
Yeah, Pais has basically said the Navy's tests didn't reach the charge levels he needed for the Pais effect to show up. Like they didn't hit that 1 Coulomb threshold. He claims the results were limited by the equipment, not that the idea itself was wrong. Navy says they flat out couldn't prove it after spending over $500,000. Classic, we needed more time and money situation.
Hey, sometimes you actually really do. Master Edger 1000, how can ghosts coexist with aliens? Speaking about that, there has been a history of paranormal phenomenon along with alien abductees and alien abductions and sightings. Basically things moving around in the room, things levitating in the room. It is a very well-known history of that in UFO lore. So that being said, they do believe that because of these craft flying in these aka fifth dimensions or alternate universe or basically parallel identities, that maybe it blurs the line between our reality and their reality, resulting in what we will call ghost phenomenons.
Thank you for our heart.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty common theory in the UFO community. Some researchers, like John Keel and Jacques Vallée, have been saying for decades that UFOs, aliens, and ghosts might not be separate things at all. They could be the same phenomenon showing up in different ways. The idea is that whatever these entities are, whether they're interdimensional, ultra-terrestrial, or something else, they don't come from other planets. They're bleeding through from another reality or dimension, and when they do, they mess with our world. That could explain why you get poltergeist activity during abductions, objects moving, people seeing shadow figures, all that stuff. Some folks even think ghosts and aliens are basically the same beings, just wearing different masks depending on the time period and what people are ready to believe. What do you think about that theory?
I think for the most part, I mean, it's subjective for through a lens of an understanding, right? But you can't argue against that. It doesn't exist. It doesn't happen, and that's the reason. Great question, 1,000. Yeah, I like what happens in the Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah, that's a big thing with the Skinwalker Ranch. I was just talking to someone about that. And Skinwalker Ranch, we went into I don't know if you ever seen the film where a portal opens up. This is discussed about a lot. A portal opens up and a being crawls out of this portal, and then soon after it crawls out, it basically vanishes. Also, they've seen basically felines and creatures that have been historically extinct for a very long time over in Skinwalker. They were discussing about that. And so that's a thing. That's a thing. It seems like after the military got involved in investigating ranch, Skinwalker Ranch, it like the paranormal stuff have diminished quite a bit. That's what I heard, and they are struggling to get more strange things happening there. That's what I heard. What do you think, Orion?
Yeah, Skinwalker Ranch is packed with those stories. The portal opening with a humanoid creature crawling out and vanishing, and sightings of what looked like dire wolves, an extinct species. Those tales come up a lot in the show and witness accounts. As for the activity dying down after military or government involvement, that's a mixed bag. The heavy scientific monitoring under Brandon Fugel is still going strong. They're filming season 7 right now in 2026, and they keep reporting weird stuff. Some older accounts from the Bigelow NNIDS days said things went quiet when they started studying it hard, but right now it doesn't seem diminished. The cameras and sensors might just be scaring it off or making it more careful.
Could be a little bit of both. Definitely pretty cool. I didn't know it was 7 seasons. Damn, man. That's definitely an interesting thing.
You know, Pax River is really interesting.
Deep into season 7 right now. Wild how long that show's been running. The place just keeps delivering.
Yeah, definitely really interesting stuff there.
Yeah, it's crazy how long they've been filming
with people.
Real rabbit holes.
I don't go to restaurants much anymore.
They only take you out for disclosing one of two things: ZPE or anti-gravity.
Like to eat at my house, but I love dinner table conversations. I grew up in
circles. They'll only take you out if you start talking about 0-point energy or anti-gravity.
Some pretty
Those two are considered the real forbidden tech.
With people.
Makes you wonder if that's
I don't
why
go to restaurants much anymore. I like to eat at my house.
He was
but I love
both.
dinner table conversations. I grew up doing that. You know, we didn't watch TV, so we always had these like 6-hour dinners at my house, and I still do that a lot. You know, every week. And I've heard some wild stuff, but the wildest thing I ever heard, there were no specifics at all.
Oh, great question. Great question, Lives. Is there a military base next to Skinwalker Ranch? I remember, yes, there is.
Yeah, there are military installations in Utah, but none right next to Skinwalker Ranch. The closest major one is Dugway Proving Ground, about 150 to 200 miles away. It's a big, restricted testing range, but it's not right on the ranch's doorstep. People sometimes connect the dots because of all the weird activity in the Uinta Basin, though.
Yeah, it's definitely really strange stuff.
Someone actually
all areas just
a Democrat,
weird.
but he was
The
a good guy, very smart guy who had a very high-ranking job in the U.S. government, like access to everything kind of job. And I was pushing him like, what do you know? Da, da, da. And he said, I know a lot. I've seen a lot. And he would have seen a lot. And he goes, but there's really only one thing I know that I would never tell anybody. And I was like, really? He goes, I would never tell anybody. I'd be killed before I told anybody. I said, well, why? And he goes, because you could end humanity with it. That's all I know. That's all he said. But I'll never forget that moment. We're sitting by the fire in my house. He said that. So I have no idea what that means.
Well, that's pretty. I guess I can ask a pretty wild.
Yeah, it's a mind bender for sure.
Where is the huge UFO? Is with buildings on top of it.
It's the one in South Korea, on a mountain outside Seoul. Specifically, the structure people point to in Anyang-si. A big building was supposedly built around or over a massive UFO that was too huge to move. Congressman Eric Burleson and Stephen Greer have both talked about it recently. It's the one that matches huge UFO with buildings on top of it.
That's actually pretty cool. Hey, can you give me a link to that?
Pretty. Here's the spot people talk about. Google.com. It's that big circular building on a mountain in Anyang-si, South Korea. Most folks who looked into it say it's just an old aviation navigation station, a Vortac beacon for planes, not a UFO. But that's the one Stephen Greer and others pointed to. Check it out on Google Earth and see for yourself.
Pretty interesting. Alright, so check this out, guys. This one was pretty wild. This is from Stewart also. Now, what's weird about this image, it's literally...
You cut off there. What's
It's literally like the nose is blurry. So I don't know if you guys are familiar, right? But the Ebens from Project Serpo, they created a hybrid human-like creature with basically they had human and Eben DNA, right? And one of the things that they mentioned is that the gray alien that was created had a very big nose. And that being said, it's like you can take that being and you can do tests on and all this other stuff. And what I'm understanding is that the oxygen it messed up with its brain somehow, and it became like psychotic, and it escaped the military base, and they had to take him down.
I'm not familiar with that exact Project Circle story. The hybrid with the big nose that went psychotic from oxygen issues and escaped? Never heard that one before. The blurry nose detail on the image is interesting though. If you drop the link or screenshot, I'll check it out with you. Where'd Stuart get this from?
This image right here, it's great question. Great question. Like he has it was his actual picture. Dottie said, look for an alien with a covered nose standing against a wall. But is it genuinely alien? This image, man, this is pretty remarkable, right? Just how unique this image is. That being said, this has been seen before, like in the deep outer webs, right? So let's see where we can play this image here. I'm gonna upload this image to Orion, and then hopefully, actually, I'm just gonna send you the link since it's a oh man, I lost my spot. The hell.
That blurry nose is the whole point of the image. The story goes that Richard Doty once told someone, "Look for a picture of an alien standing against a wall with its nose covered. That one's real." This photo matches that description exactly, which is why it keeps popping up in these circles. Whether it's genuine or not is another story. A lot of people have seen it floating around the deeper parts of the web for years. Want me to dig into where it originally came from?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that image matches the exact Richard Doty quote people always bring up. "Look for an alien with a covered nose standing against a wall. That one's genuine. It's been floating around the deeper parts of the internet for a while. The blurry nose is the giveaway that's supposed to make it feel authentic. Whether it's real or just clever fan art designed to fit the story, it's definitely one of the more unique ones out there. Pretty wild how well it lines up with what he supposedly said."
Replied, "It hasn't been achieved to its full extent."
Interesting.
So the physics of how to do that type of propulsion, and he was asked by Jeremy Corbell, "Do you think it's already been achieved by the U.S. government, or it hasn't?" And that's why OSAP had a lot of value. And Jim Lukatsky replied, "It hasn't been achieved to its full extent."
Interesting.
So, to what extent did they achieve it? 25%, 50%, 75%? I don't know, because he never told us. So Hal Puthoff and I have talked about these things, and we're looking at each other like, huh? So, no, this isn't disinformation. This is the DOPSR telling Jim what he can say publicly in his books versus what he can't say in his books. And they cleared him to say what he said.
Sure.
And obviously they cleared him to say what he said to Corbell and Knapp. I haven't read his second and third books yet, so I don't know if that thing about the triangles is even in there. I haven't gone all the way through the first book yet either. So,
do you think it's
there you go. So it's real. Lukatsky would have the eligibility for access.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting, right? I mean, the early access, the capability to analyze these ships and all. The hell?
Yeah, the timing is
Yeah, I don't know why it's like the camera keeps glitching. Yeah, it's definitely one of those segues there. Sandra says nukes can end humanity too. Should that be a secret too? Great question. Great question. Great question. I don't have an answer for that. Saska lines are maps. Then the Nazca lines were maps. Interesting. I know they were using it for like growing crops.
So the military was.
Yeah, that blurry nose detail is exactly what makes the image stand out. It lines up with the old Richard Doty quote about looking for a picture of an alien with a covered nose against a wall. The symbol and map lines sound intriguing, though. If the mask, or whatever it is, aligns with maps, and you mention something about growing crops, that's a new angle on it. You still got the image up? What does the symbol actually look like?
Well, we're not talking about a symbol, but we're talking about. Hold up. This is Chris Blipso. Let's see how many followers he has. He probably has a ton. 45,000. Yeah, this is a recent footage here. There have been a significantly shift in appearance of those green orbs. 12, 15, 24, 5. So this is the old one.
Yeah, that's Chris Bledsoe's account. He's sitting right around 45,000 followers. Those green orbs have been showing up a lot for him. He's been posting fresh footage saying there's been a real shift in them since late 2025. The 12, 15, 20, 25 you mentioned sounds like he's counting how many he's seeing at once. You said this is the old one. What's different in the new clips he's dropped?
Well, this clip is just simply UFOs flying in the sky, like orbs and stuff. So that's definitely interesting, right? I mean, we definitely have one of those segments there that inspires people to its reality of what this phenomenon is, right? And the good thing is we're discussing about it right now. And hopefully we can get cross-trained to honing these craft. And so you guys know, I appreciate all the likes and the shares and the gifts. Thank you so much, guys, for dropping by and talking about UFOs with me. If you've been here this far, you are disclosure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the point. When you get enough
You know about rolling with the crazies and the fake mind goes blank. I feel like a hybrid.